But we also want to spend some time tonight focused on a subject that we really feel needs to be talked about. If you have a teenager, you've likely heard of the Netflix series 13 Reasons Why. It's a drama about suicide, and it's causing concern among parents, school leaders, and those in the suicide prevention world. Why? They say it glamorizes suicide, romanticizes it.
Yeah, even the Wayzata School District even sent out an email to parents with a list of talking points to help start the conversation about this topic.
Now, we sat down with the man who wrote those talking points to find out what was so wrong with the show and why we just can't let it go.
Hannah, I'm not going. Not now. Not ever.
Why didn't you say this to me when I was alive?
13 Reasons Why, the series based on a book, follows Hannah. It depicts her suicide vividly and in detail, and follows along as she reveals to others why she blames them for her death.
It's Hannah. Hannah Baker.
People all over the world have been contacting you to talk about this show. What was your initial reaction to it?
I was horrified when I first saw the show.
Dan Reidenberg is with Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, or SAVE. He's trying hard to get people to understand this series handles the issue poorly.
One of the ways that they really failed is they never talked about treatment as an option. They never gave a viable alternative for her. And when she finally goes to get help, not only does the counselor really kind of push her away and dismiss her and not give her the time, because his phone is ringing constantly, but he then turns to her and throws it back at her like this was her fault. You know, what role did she have in this? We have memorialization in this show where they memorialize her by decorating her locker, and then young girls going up in front of the locker and taking selfies in front of the locker and talking about how pretty she was. Those kinds of things are really troublesome for someone like me who studies this and knows that the risk of contagion or copycat suicide occurs when you memorialize someone like that.
Don't believe everything you hear.
The producers did contact Dan for his expertise, but only after the series was complete. So Dan, along with Jed Foundation, came up with talking points for parents. What are some of the things that parents can do tonight to say, you've seen the show, or I think you may have seen the show, we need to talk about this?
I think that's the very first place to start, is to be open and honest with your child and say, you may have heard about this. If you haven't heard about it and you've seen it, let's sit down. Let's just spend a few minutes talking about this. Make sure they understand that it's fiction. It's not fact. It's not a true story. Second, we want them to understand that just because this story is depicted this way, that isn't how it happens for most people that die by suicide.
Parents might be afraid that just saying the word or bringing it up will cause those feelings in somebody, and that's not the case.
It's not the case. I'm really glad that you asked that. We have a lot of research that tells us that just talking about suicide doesn't make somebody want to go die by suicide. What we really know is that when you talk to somebody who's at risk of suicide and you ask them about it, it reduces their level of anxiety. It helps them see that somebody gets it and understands.
This isn't about fighting a battle with Netflix, who, by the way, approved those talking points and even put them on its website. This is about something much, much bigger.
We see these names every day of our lives. We look at these names. These are families that have lost someone. That's what we do here. It's not about trying to take down Netflix at all. It's about trying to help people understand the reality of suicide.
And hopefully stop adding names to the list.
And hopefully stop adding names to the list.
This is one of those topics that we could talk about for hours and it would never be enough. Some of the things that he wanted to make sure that we talked about are the fact that in this show, Hannah, the person who's the main character, kind of comes back from the dead and narrates her life and her story, and she gets to tell all these people why it's their fault. Two things about that. That's not what happens in real life. You don't get to come back and narrate your life like it's a TV show. And the other thing is it portrays suicide as some sort of revenge. And he says that is absolutely not the case at all. For people who commit suicide, it is this deep darkness within them. It's a mental health issue. It's about them, not about other people. And so being able to talk about mental health is so very important, because once we open up that portal, then we get to tell people it's okay, there's resources, we're here for you, there's something that we can do about it, and it is then preventable.
It's such an interesting time, too, because this has dominated social media for weeks. I see it all over my social media, especially with younger people that I follow. So it's hard, because if that's the narrative and the narrative is wrong that's out there, it's also something that's being talked about right now. So, you know, the interview that you did with him is super helpful. We just need to keep talking about it,
We
perhaps?
need to keep talking about it. We'll post those links for you on our website. And one other thing to point out too is Selena Gomez is behind this. So when you have a big star like that as the producer of a show who comes out and says, "Oh, every kid needs to see this," that gets real hard too, because people look up to her. And unfortunately, they did their due diligence after the series was already done. So hopefully we can do some good by talking about it today. So
Yeah,
there you
it
have
goes
it.
beyond and go beyond that television
Yeah.
show. Absolutely.
All right.